What's going on, y'all? How's everybody been doing? So, just a little update on me. Everything's been going well, still running the system. And most of y'all already know I transferred down to the Orlando terminal, and I got no complaints. They're running me. And that's all I can say about that. Everything is going well. So let's talk about one question that I've been getting very frequent, and it has to do with automatic restrictions. Now, if you ask me, I'm gonna always tell you, I'm gonna always encourage you to get the restriction taken off your license. Just get it off. And the reason I say this is because at Southeastern, and so I'm speaking on the company, let me just go ahead and state this. I'm not a spokesperson for the company. I'm just a driver giving my own views and my own opinion. So let's talk about it. Over here, we are not 100% automatic. Now, the terminal I run out of, you cannot have an automatic restriction. We still have a good number of manual trucks, okay? However, there are some terminals that are completely automatic. Now, typically, your bigger terminals, they're gonna have the manuals. A lot of the manuals that we have, come from other terminals, maybe smaller terminals, because typically the smaller terminals, they're gonna have a lot of automatics. The reason being is typically the smaller terminals, they're not gonna have a shop to fix them. Big terminals like my terminal, Orlando, Tampa, Dallas, Houston, all the Atlanta terminals, Charlotte, Memphis, terminals like those, big terminals, a lot of doors, and they're gonna have shops, meaning they're gonna have mechanics that are able to fix those manuals versus, smaller terminals like Fort Myers, Jonesboro, Macon, little terminals like those. So again, I just encourage you, get the restriction taken off. That way it's not going to hinder you. And as I've said in the past, your road test just might be in a manual. When I got hired on here, my road test was in a manual. So again, just get it off. That way you're not having to ask me or go online asking about, automatic restriction. Now let's talk about the next topic. Let's talk about this dock-to-driver program. Now, it took me a while to do this video. Reason being is when I give out information, I want to make sure that I'm giving out accurate information. So if I don't know something, I'm going to, of course, educate myself, get the information. That way I can provide the information to you guys. So, of course, I didn't go through the dock-to-driver program. So I'll be honest, I had to call my terminal manager and get some information on it. And I will go ahead and tell you, to get into the dock-to-driver program, you have to first, obtain your CDL. And I know somebody's going to ask this. The company is not paying for your CDL. You have to, obtain it within 6 months. You cannot have an automatic restriction. Now, let me dive back on this automatic restriction. I've heard of other terminals allowing drivers with automatic restrictions to get in. I've heard of them getting in, but then they have to get it removed. And then I've heard of people saying they just flat out cannot have it. So again, get it removed. You have to ride with a mentor for 80 hours. And then, you'll be good to go. Now, with this dock, I've never worked the dock here. Line haul drivers were not required to work the dock. I'm not even certified to, get on a forklift. So, all right, so I looked at that last clip and I realized I left out some information. So before you can even get into this program, you have to be a freight handler at Southeastern, dock worker. You have to be a dock worker for at least a month. Before you start the program, you need to already have your CDL permit, and of course, you'll do your 80 hours, you'll practice your maneuvers, do your tests. Now, assuming you complete the program successfully, you will go straight into P&D. I know for those of y'all that want line haul, I'm sorry. You know, you're going to have to start off in P&D, do P&D for a little bit. Now, if you want to, you know, transition to line haul, you have to, of course, wait until either somebody from line haul leaves or, you know, a position becomes available. And I'll be honest with you, you know, it could take you, you know, years to get line haul, you know. As far as what advice or tips I would give for anybody that's in this program or considering doing this program, you know, be a sponge. Make sure, you know, you're asking questions, you know, study that pre-trip, you know, because that pre-trip is the thing a lot of people mess up on. You know, just practice, you know, more than likely, you know, you're going to practice on a manual, you know, especially if you come to, you know, the term I ride of, it's going to be a manual, you know. Just practice, study. And at the end of this video, you know, I'm going to just show verbatim, you know, what he said as far as the requirements. That way, you know, if you were confused, you know, you can, you know, read this at the end. But I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up. So as I always tell y'all, thank you to all my day one subscribers. Thank you to all my new subscribers. Appreciate all y'all. And as I always tell y'all, y'all take it easy.